Bem-vindos a esta conferência que espero que seja, no mínimo, memorável. Eu não vou estar aqui a falar muito tempo, porque quem vai falar será este senhor que está aqui ao meu lado. Quase todos nesta sala, de certeza absoluta, já ouviram falar nele. É uma pessoa com uma larga experiência de mergulho, tem feito projetos muito interessantes e está diretamente relacionado com vários projetos, com algumas cadeias de televisão, nomeadamente o Canal História, o Discovery, a National Geographic, além de outros trabalhos também que ele tem feito com outros grupos. É uma pessoa que tem muita experiência ao nível de exploração, pesquisa de naufrágios e de locais arqueologicamente interessantes. É também uma pessoa que tem, ao longo da vida de mergulhador dele, descoberto aquilo que é filmar e fazer imagens debaixo d'água, quer imagens ao nível da fotografia, quer especialmente ao nível do filme. Espero que se divirtam, espero que gostem. Vão reparar que ele é uma pessoa extremamente interessante de ouvir e, por favor, se no final tiverem algum tipo de questão, por favor, ponham-nas, que isso só vai enriquecer mais a nossa palestra. Meus senhores, minhas senhoras, Richie Kohler.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a good one.
How do you get your start in making underwater films? Many of you already do it. You have to be a diver first, but there are very few people who were cameramen who felt motivated to go under the water. The first was Hans Haas. Hans Haas is probably the father of underwater video. He was superseded by Jacques Cousteau, and since then, anybody who can blow bubbles and carry a camera has fancied themselves an underwater cameraman. I think we can't have both of these on at the same time. Passion and commitment are two of the things you're going to need, because it's not easy making underwater video. We all start out with a small camera, probably something just like this, and our passion grows and we want to have more images or a better system, high definition. This is how I started, basically taking video of shipwrecks. Shipwrecks was my passion, and I did it on the weekend. I didn't have a job making television. I didn't have a job. Nobody wanted to buy my video. As a matter of fact, I had to force my family to sit down and watch the videos I took. And I'm sure some of you are smiling because you know exactly what I'm talking about. Our passion, the thing that we love about diving, doesn't transmit well to non-divers. So how can we make our video better, more interesting? I'm going to cover some of that and just talk about some of the bigger projects, because, you know, guys, it's all about size with us. You start out with a camera system like this, and the next thing you know, you sell your car and you buy even a bigger camera with a bigger lens, high definition. You explain to your wife, you have to have this. Your wife will probably tell you size doesn't matter, especially when they find out how much that camera system costs. But ultimately, when you're working for production television companies, even the best high-end sport diving unit is no longer in vogue. As a matter of fact, you'd be hard-pressed to sell mini DVD or even high-def mini DVD to a production company. You'd get away with that on a news program. But for broadcast television or even the film industry, today everybody is going with fiber optic systems that are high-definition cameras. Now, this is an autonomous unit that is actually weighs, I believe it was 110 kilos, is that what we configured it to be in kilos from pounds. You'll see this system quite often through the rest of this presentation. That camera system is manufactured by Woods Hole Oceanographic Institute in Massachusetts. It's systems like this that the cameraman is really quite literally a dope on a rope. That fiber optic cable, the camera's being run, the iris, the light balance, and the focus is all being done topside by a battery of camera people sitting behind monitors. Most of the bulk of that, believe it or not, is battery power for not only the camera system, but battery power for the 6 150-watt HID lights. This system has been down to about 800 feet, so you can imagine that it's got a lot of hours on it, and it's been changed over and over as we do each project. This particular camera can run, I believe, Because the feeds go up, the batteries will last about 6 hours, so we can swap out divers. The camera can stay down longer than the divers. The diver comes up, another cameraman takes it, and you continue the operation. My break into underwater documentaries started by a bit of luck. Some of you may have read or heard of a book called Shadow Divers, in which my partner and I were guys who just went diving on the weekend, and we stumbled on the wreck of a World War II German U-boat in 230 feet of water off the coast of New Jersey. Now, there's lots of submarines and shipwrecks all over the world. What made this one special? In short, this one was a bona fide enigma. Not only was it a virgin shipwreck, and anybody who goes in the water knows how exciting it is, the concept of finding a virgin shipwreck. But to find a virgin shipwreck that no expert, no government could answer the simple question, which submarine is this and who are these men on board? Well, it took us 6 years, and ultimately we did discover the identity of that submarine and her 56-man crew. This made interest, was very picked up, by many of the network news programs, and a documentary filmmaker named Kurt Wolfinger saw one of these news programs and came to us and said, "This is a fantastic story, I'd like to make a documentary." That documentary was called Hitler's Lost Sub. It won an Emmy Award. It was 2 hours long. And for the first time, I was on television. But I wasn't speaking to the camera. I was speaking to an interviewer. I wasn't the guy that was calling the shots, much less people were following us around with cameras. And they did that for a year and a half. The success of that program was captured by A&E, Arts and Entertainment Network, out of New York City, who saw my partner John Chatterton and I in this program and said, "Hey, those guys are onto something. They're like detectives. They're like diving detectives." So believe it or not, in one of those weird twists of fate, a guy like me who was fixing windows in his family glass business, and John Chatterton, who was a commercial diver cleaning sewer pipes out in Manhattan, were invited to Manhattan. We went into the offices in New York City, conducted an interview for 2 hours, and walked out of that meeting with a promise for 6 television programs. 6 hours of underwater video. Now, John had shot some video before, and I had shot some video, but as I said earlier, it was for our wives, for ourselves. It was never going to be professional. What they wanted was 2 guys who could stand up in front of the camera, talk about underwater adventure, and then go and shoot the films underwater. One of the things, the first lesson I have for all of you, is that when luck affords you an opportunity, no matter what it is, if they say, "Can you shoot me underwater video of walrus?" you say yes. Then you go and find out everything you need to about walrus. You never say no, because if you say no, the door will close. And when opportunity knocks, you have to open the door. So John and I laughed all the way back to our houses that night. We couldn't believe our good fortune that we had this opportunity to be on television. We thought that the minute they realized that we had no idea what we were doing, that we would be fired. But somehow, we got 57 hours. I did 57 episodes of Deep Sea Detectives. And we did it for 3 seasons. It was highly successful and was a lot of fun. It changed our lives. At the same time, the book Shadow Divers hit and became a very big success. So we each in our own way changed our lives. I no longer fixed windows for a living. John didn't have to clean sewer pipes. And we were on television. This is the truth. It's stranger than fiction. But you had to rise to the occasion. One of the things that I keep saying is that when opportunity affords you a chance, you have to take it. While we were working on Deep Sea Detectives, our first chance at becoming producers was given to us when a person contacted us and gave us a story idea. When you're working for television, lots of people call you up in the middle of the night and go, "I got this great idea. This is going to be a great television program." Well, this one caught our interest. You see, the guy was talking about a shipwreck, a little-known shipwreck out in the middle of the Atlantic. And he had been working for a company that was salvaging artifacts from the shipwreck when he found what he believed to be forensic evidence that would change what everyone thought about how that ship sank. Well, like I said, it's a little-known shipwreck. You may have heard of it. It was called Titanic. We had the opportunity to shoot a documentary, and we went to the History Channel, our boss, and said, "Hey, we've got this great opportunity. What do you think?" They said, "Oh, we love this idea. How much is it?" We said, "Well, it's about $750,000 to rent the boat, but it'll be okay." They're like, "We don't like the idea that much."